take that term for one moment, because oftentimes when I share with someone that I am a survivor, there's a pause and there's a, oh, I'm so sorry that you went through that. And while the sentiment may be true, I need you to understand that every time you see a survivor, the sentiment should be that she's an overcomer, or he's an overcomer, or they are an overcomer. The term survivor is that of triumph. Because if you were able to survive, like every one of you know in here, that is something special. And so I just want you to reframe that when you are being introduced or you're meeting someone who is conveying that I am a survivor. And I say that very proudly. And so I know that Sabrina has her own story as well, and we're not going to sit in those stories because we're not those people anymore. While those are our experiences, we have benefited and have been able to impart our work in doing exactly what you're doing, and that's making a difference in the space and empowering survivors everywhere. So Sabrina, if you could just share with everyone here a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am the mother of DeAndre Hopkins, the best wide receiver in the world. And I actually am the CEO of my nonprofit organization, and I'm a life coach, and I am an overcomer.
Is that you and I are collectively here to celebrate everyone.
Yes.
And in that collectiveness, what we see in the room is the opportunity of collaboration. And the collaboration is so critical for this field because we are stronger together. And so as we talk today, if you could just position yourself in your mind's posture to live there, that every single person in this room, to your right and to your left, in front of you, behind you, it is an opportunity to multiply our impact, to multiply the work that we're doing so that we can continue to make strides and move forward, because every step, little or small, is a step moving forward.
Yes.
Irregardless of what we know to be true, that the work is hard, we also know there's a lot of victory in this room. There's a lot of stories that you all can share about what has been done and the impact that you all are making. So Sabrina,
Yes.
Can you tell us more about how collaboration at Smooth has played a key role in your ability to have success?
Well, I think when you collaborate with other organizations, it really gives you the power to be able to go out and the necessary tools to help better educate the women, the victims of domestic violence. I think that because everyone comes from different facets, so you have sex trafficking, trauma, you have abuse, and so it is actually essential that you collaborate with other organizations and celebrate together, because we're all out here, doing the hard work. And when no one can do it alone. And so as Smooth has went through this 10-year journey, we've connected with so many people. I insist that my team collaborate with others. Not only that I feel we're a powerhouse, but I feel like we have to continue educating ourselves. The more that I know about someone else's organization and how they're, doing things, the better that my organization will be.
Absolutely, and as Claire mentioned, I am the chair of the board for the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and I just recently had an opportunity to be a part of the transition team for the merger of the National Domestic Violence Hotline and the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. And so when you talk about collaboration and the power,
Yes.
and that term of multiplication, no organization loses anything. It's a gain for everybody. We know that there are facets in this field
where it almost feels like we have to work against each other.
Yes.
And I'll give an example of when you're trying to get resources to continue to do the work you're doing, you're having to compete with other organizations. But I want to say today it's not a competition, because we all have one mission. The mission is to be survivor-centered, to make sure that the work that we're doing, that it is able to really move the needle. In order for us to do that, we have to be okay with, you know what, this organization really does this really well. So let's support them. And then vice versa. And then you just keep moving that way, and it's like a domino effect. And we keep knocking down the walls. We keep tearing down the bricks. And then we have an opportunity to create the pathway that survivors can march on.
Yes, that's good. Absolutely.
So one of the reasons why the NFL feels so strongly about celebrating all of you unsung heroes, because everyone in this room, we know the work that you are doing. Oftentimes, it's not spoken about, it's not talked about, and there's so many stories that you aren't able to share because there's some confidentiality that exists. But they are so insistent, and it was very clear in our preparation for this, that they want you all to know how much they value and appreciate what you're doing. And that's why this event is annually, because creating this space and bringing you all in to love you to life, to pour into you so that you are fueled to go out and continue to do this work, it means everything to them. And we talked about it this way. We're all in town here to celebrate the Super Bowl, the big game. But before there was a big game, there were multiple games. There were multiple teams. There were some wins, there were some losses, and then at the end, there are two teams standing. Well, every day, for every single person in here, every time you connect with a survivor, that you get a call or you get a person sitting in front of you, that is your Super Bowl. That is your opportunity to win the game. And that win may not always feel like a win, but if you believe and you know that you're sowing a seed that has the power to deposit and to spring forth a harvest in that person's life, you know that at some point in time, your seed, somebody's water, is going to produce, and that life is going to be transformed.
Yes, that's good. That's good. And I think to add to that, Tommy, I think that we all have to be mindful of why we started in the beginning, because there are going to be some hard times, things that you're going to go through. I myself would carry, the situation with young women. I would carry it home, I would carry it to sleep with me, and I would wake up, burdened. But I think to always go back to why you started this in the beginning is very important. Because you yourself may have been abused, or someone that passed away, and always go back to that spot, that soft place of why you started this fight in the first place, and then refuel. Go back to doing whatever it takes, whether it's a long bath or whether it's talking to a friend or just some silent time. But you can't give what you don't have. And so I think it's very important that we remember why we started this journey in the first place. For me, it's listening to a book on Audible. And I listen to a whole book just so I'm sitting there, I'm in another world for just a little while before I go back to this fight that I have to fight. So I think it's very important that you owe it to yourself to go back to what started this mission in the beginning and understand that, because this is a horrible epidemic that we're fighting, and we're just beginning. I mean, we're going to win, but we're just beginning, and we have to understand why you're in it and just take that time for yourself.
So Sabrina, as the president and founder of Smooth, the leader, what are some ways that you ensure and look out for the wellness of your team?
We do a lot of team bonding. I pour into my team. My team is my family. And so I can't expect them to go out and give 100% if I'm not giving 100% into them. And so I think it's very important, even when, because it's not all about business, so I check in on them. I make sure that their well-being is okay. And I literally pour into my team members. Yeah, of course, they call me Big Mama. And and so, because I'm very, and I'm very nosy, I want to know what's going on with my team members. And because their lives are my lives. And I think another thing is just understanding that I give them the essentials and equip them to what they need to know, to be educated. So we do life skills programs, we do workshops. I make sure that they're fully knowledgeable before they go out, and I tell them, when you're in front of a person, you have the ability to hurt them or help them. And we always want to be able to help.
That's good. So we both know, Sabrina and I know, that the power of listening and being heard is invaluable in this space. And for survivors, it is a very powerful exchange.
Yes.
To be someone listening, and then you're being heard. There's an exchange that is taking place there. And so in the room today, we all have an opportunity to participate in that empowering exchange, to share our stories of triumph.
Yes.
This is a space for us to uplift each other. So share those stories. I encourage you as you move around the room, and please move around the room, to get to know the individuals that are on the front line with you, fighting the good fight. Get to know them, get to know what they're doing, exchange information so that you can be a resource and a support for one another, so that we don't run dry and we have an opportunity to fuel each other as we continue in this journey. So Sabrina, what is something that you're looking forward to hearing and learning today from the amazing individuals that are in this audience?
Oh, I'm excited to just really hear the different perspectives of how you team build, how you collaborate together. I think it's very important, as you said, Ms. Tommy, that you collaborate with each other. So I'm also looking forward to getting out here and just seeing, what you have going on and how you can impart some things into my organization and me as well, talk to you about things that we have going on. It's very, very important. We cannot stress enough that you need to collaborate with other organizations in order to, be able to continue fighting the fight.
So before we leave, what is something that you would like to share with everyone in the room today?
I would love to share that each and every one of us are overcomers, and that you're amazingly designed beautifully just how you are, and know your worth. I think that is very important, that most of us that are in this fight were once survivors, or someone. I think we all wear a shade of purple. And so I think that it's very important that you know who you are and stand up in that. Be present. Know who you are in every room that you walk in, and know that you're enough. That carries you a long way. I am 100% totally blind, but I walk in every room knowing that I belong there before I even get there. And that is a testament to building myself up. Put the work in. And it's not going to be easy, because you're taking in all of these stories, but as I said, understand that you're enough and that you're worthy and that you're absolutely amazing.
So I have a quick action that I want everybody to take in the room. I need everybody to take your hand and put it up here. Now reach it around your shoulder and pat yourself on the back, because you all are doing amazing work. And this is not making light of the weight of the burden.
Yes.
This is honoring and celebrating our ability to hold it up.
Yes.
We hope you enjoy the rest of the morning, mingling and talking and discussing ideas and sharing your triumphs and your victories. We know the work is hard. We know that. Everybody in the room knows that. But this moment right here, take a pause and let's just celebrate.
Celebrate. Yes.